You found a great home and you want to make an offer, but there's already multiple offers. Now what do you do? I'm Eric Peterson, broker and owner of Kopa Real Estate, and I've presented over 1,000 offers to clients that I've represented. I have a great understanding of what really lights up their eyes and what turns them off when reviewing offers. If you're trying to buy a home in an area where there's a lot of multiple offers, make sure that you have the best realtor working for you. Give us a call at 512-791-7473. Now let's talk about 8 tips to make an offer that the seller can't refuse. Right, the first tip is understand the contract and all of the terms. Most real estate agents don't review the contract or any of the terms with their buyer client until right before they're going to make an offer, maybe sometimes not at all. That doesn't give you time to carefully consider the aspects of the contract that you might be able to push a little bit further in your interest and things that you're going to hold your ground on. You really don't want to have to be making these decisions at, say, 6 o'clock on a Saturday night. You want to have time to understand that, and that way when you make an offer, you really have a great idea of what you're willing to do. You really have to remember that for the great homes, you don't get a second chance. So if you miss out on that multiple offer situation because you didn't understand the contract, you don't get another opportunity with that home. It's gone. Hey, the second tip to get your offer accepted is money is more important than a letter. It's really popular if you read blogs on HGTV or a lot of maybe your friends and they say, oh, we were in multiple offers and our offer was $10,000 below the other offer was accepted, but they accepted it because we just wrote this fantastic letter. In my experience, that's not likely to happen. Maybe somebody told you that, but it's not likely that that's really what happened. You want to put your best foot forward and really make an offer that if you lose that house for $1 more, you can sleep well at night knowing that you did everything that you could. Second tip within putting in the most money that you're comfortable with is don't just dip your toe in the water. When sellers are considering offers, let's say there's 2 offers and one person came in at $475 and the other one was $500, but later the $475 decided to increase up. The person that came in with a strong offer first will be seen in a better light with the seller because they're worried that that $475 offer only came up because they felt pressured to. And what may happen then is that buyer is more likely to get cold feet and terminate the contract. So we know from presenting these offers that the seller wants to go with the buyer that really loves the house right from the beginning. Hey, the third tip to get your offer accepted is be pre-approved and not just be pre-qualified. Here's the difference. Pre-approval means that the lender has received all your documentation, income, assets, run a credit report, and an underwriter has gone through and looked at all that and you are credit approved. Pre-qualification means, hey, I'm sitting there on the computer Saturday night at 11 and I fill something out in an online loan application and they spit me back a pre-qualification. Myself as a listing agent, when I see something like that, that pre-qualification is meaningless compared to this pre-approval. The pre-approval lets you say to the seller, hey, I'm ready to go on this house. I'm already approved. There's not going to be any financing problems. And you as the buyer, one of the things you might be able to or be willing to do is remove that financing contingency so you can say to the buyer, I'm not worried at all about my financing falling through. And the only way you'll know that is if you're actually pre-approved. That'll also help you as a buyer compete better against cash offers because you can say to the seller that my deal is just as good as a cash offer because there's no chance of it falling through. The fourth tip is increasing the amount of option money that you give to the seller. In my opinion, and when I present offers, option money is more important than earnest money because earnest money, if you cancel the contract during the termination period, you probably get that money back. The option money, though, on the other hand, if you go through with the transaction, it gets credited towards your down payment. But if you don't, the seller gets to keep that money. So the higher amount of option money is usually a better indication of how serious the buyer is about going through with the sale compared to even a higher amount of earnest money. If you think about it, if you were the seller and you're comparing 2 different offers and one says, well, I want to give you $100 of option money, and then a second person says, I'm going to give you $500 or maybe $1,000. If you're really serious, you're more likely to go with that offer that has the higher amount of option money. Okay, the fifth tip is increasing the amount of earnest money. So, although I just said that earnest money doesn't mean as much to me, well, that's because I understand the contract and I understand what would happen. But a lot of sellers still misunderstand how our contract works and how buyer-friendly our contracts work, and they really put in a overweight onto the earnest money and how important that is. And so because you know that you can request a refund of that earnest money during the termination period if you decide to change your mind or if there's something wrong with the inspection, I always say go forward with more earnest money because the seller is more likely to accept your offer and you still have the security of that termination period where if things don't work out, you can cancel and get a refund of that amount of money. The sixth way to make it more likely that your offer is accepted is by having a shorter termination period. So the shorter termination period gives assurance to the seller that if for some reason you get cold feet or back out, that they can get the house on the market ASAP. And that's very important. Now, what you'll want to do is make sure that you can get an inspection lined up ASAP as well, so that you don't burn several days of your termination period waiting to get an inspection schedule. The seventh way to make it more likely that your offer is accepted is waiving your appraisal contingency. Sellers want a solid deal. Most of the appraisers around our area I have found are very professional, and believe it or not, they're not trying to kill your deal. But we've also run into some appraisers who are not qualified, in my opinion, not professional. And you can imagine as a seller, it's a very emotional situation. Maybe they want to buy another house as well. They don't want their whole real estate transaction to be contingent on some appraiser who just doesn't know what he's doing, killing that deal. So this is something that you really need to talk with your realtor about and understanding how to waive your contingency and really what that means for you. The eighth way to get your offer accepted is have a great realtor representing you. Sellers are often asking us about the reputation of the agent representing the buyer. Many of the offers that we receive are frankly poorly written, and it's a reflection on the professionalism of the agent. The sellers interpret that to mean that the rest of the transaction is likely to be rocky. As we talked about, the sellers want a smooth deal. When we're presenting an offer, we always want to write a great offer that can be accepted and also communicate to the agent, make sure that they communicate to the seller that we are professional and that we will make it a smooth transaction for everybody involved. Second thing within making these offers is it's not enough just to write the offer. You need to know how to present the offer to the listing agent so that it's presented to the seller in the best light. And it's often what you say and when you say it that is going to get your offer accepted. Just a couple weeks ago, Joyce had a client that she was representing purchase a home with 10 other offers. We got together to talk about it and I gave her a couple of things to say to the listing agent, and that was able to put our client over the top and they were able to buy a great house competing against 10 other offers. Thank you so much for watching this video. Some of this information is specific to real estate transactions and contracts in Texas, so make sure when you're buying a house with multiple offers that you have a professional agent representing you. If we can help you anywhere around the Austin area, give me a call directly at 512-791-7473. Thanks for watching and make it a great day.